Hello students, welcome to Biology Tutorial channel. Today we are going to talk about photosynthesis, Unit 2 Grade 10 Biology. What is photosynthesis? What are the inputs and outputs of photosynthesis? Could you define photosynthesis? Could you mention those inputs and outputs of photosynthesis? What is the importance of photosynthesis to life? Could you explain it? Can you describe the mechanism of photosynthesis? Let's go to answer these questions. Photosynthesis is the process in which the energy from light is captured and used to synthesize glucose. Light energy is captured, and that energy is important for the synthesis of glucose. This process known as photosynthesis. Nearly all living organisms, different plants, different animals, and other organisms rely or depend on photosynthesis for their nourishment, either directly or indirectly. So all living organisms, nearly all living organisms, are directly or indirectly depend on photosynthesis. They rely on photosynthesis for their nourishment. Without photosynthesis, they cannot get food for survival. Photosynthetic organisms include plants, algae, and cyanobacteria. And these organisms can manufacture their own food. All other organisms are directly or indirectly depending upon these organisms. Photosynthetic organisms produce the organic compound needed by all living organisms. Yes, these photosynthetic organisms, plants, algae, and cyanobacteria, produce organic compounds, that means food, and that organic compounds is needed by all living organisms. All living organisms need food, and this production of food is performed by the process of photosynthesis, and these photosynthetic organisms include plants, algae, and cyanobacteria. Good. Photosynthesis occurs in chloroplasts. Yes, photosynthesis occurs in chloroplasts. What are chloroplasts? These are organelles that are found in plant cells. In plant cells or in algal cells, there are organelles. These organelles are known as chloroplasts. Chloroplasts contain the green pigment called chlorophyll. Yes, these chloroplasts, they are organelles. They are found within plant cells and other organism cells. And these chloroplasts contain the green pigment called chlorophyll. Look, this one is moss, this one is algae, look, this one is blue green algae or cyanobacteria. Look, this is plant, that means flowering plant. So this flowering plant, cyanobacteria or non-flowering plants, the algae, mosses, ferns, all are photosynthetic organisms. They can manufacture their own food. Good. Input or raw materials of photosynthesis. What are the inputs or what are the raw materials for photosynthesis? Sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water are the three raw materials or inputs of photosynthesis. Sunlight provides energy to drive the reaction for performing the reaction, performing photosynthesis. Sunlight is required, so sunlight provides us energy in order to drive photosynthesis, or in order to drive the reaction. Carbon dioxide enters the plant through tiny pores in the leaves called stomata. Yes, this carbon dioxide is the raw material or input which is necessary for photosynthesis, and this carbon dioxide enters into the plant tissue through tiny pores called stomata. Water absorbed from the soil by roots and transport to the leaf, because leaves are the major part where photosynthesis takes place. So look, the carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, they are what? Raw materials. They are what? Inputs for photosynthesis. Nice. Output, what are the outputs or what are the products of photosynthesis? Glucose and oxygen are the outputs or the products of photosynthesis. Glucose is a sugar that serves as the plant's food for energy and growth. Plant needs energy for growth and to perform different chemical reactions. And that source of energy is what? Food. There is sugar. Sugar is the output or the product of photosynthesis. And this sugar contains energy. And that energy is important for growth. And that energy is also important for performing different activities within the plant body. Oxygen, this is a byproduct released during the process of photosynthesis. And it releases into the atmosphere through the tiny opening known as stomata. Yes, so glucose and oxygen are the products or the output of photosynthesis. Look, this one is glucose, which is synthesized or made by the process of photosynthesis. Look, this one is oxygen, another product or another output. This oxygen leaves the plant tissue through tiny opening known as stomata. And there is chlorophyll, this is a green pigment which is important to trap sunlight energy or light energy from the sun. Nice. Good. ስለዚህ ኢንፑቶች አሉ። ፎቶሲንቴሲስ ምንድነው? ምግብ ማዘጋጀት ነው። ፎቶሲንቴሲስ አረንጓዴ ተክሎች ፋርነስ እና አረንጓዴ ተክሎች እና ፋርነስ እና ሞስ ጂምኖስፐርም አንጂኦስፐርም የመሳሰሉት ምግባቸውን ያዘጋጃሉ። የአረንጓዴ ተክሎች ምግባቸውን ማዘጋጀት ሂደቱ ፕሮሰሱ ይባላል ፎቶሲንቴሲስ። አረንጓዴ ተክሎች ካርቦን ዳይኦክሳይድን ከአየር ውሃን ከአፈር ውስጥ የፀሐይን ብርሃን ተጠቅመው በክሎሮፊላቸው አማካይነት ምግባቸውን ያዘጋጃሉ። ይሄ ሂደት ይሄ ፕሮሰስ የሚባለው ፎቶሲንቴሲስ ይባላል። ሁሉም ኦርጋኒዝሞች ሌሎች ኦርጋኒዝሞች በቀጥታም ሆነ በተዘዋዋሪ በማን ጥገኞች ናቸው? በፎቶሲንቴቲክ ኦርጋኒዝሞች ጥገኞች ናቸው። ፎቶሲንቴቲክ ኦርጋኒዝሞች ከሌሉ ፕላንት ከሌለ አልጌ ከሌለ ሳይኖባክቴሪያዎች ከሌሉ ህይወት በዚች ምድር ላይ ሊኖር አይችልም። ምክንያቱም እነሱ ምግባቸውን ያዘጋጁ። ሌላው ኦርጋኒዝምስ የነሱ ምንድነው? ጥገኛ ነው። ምግባቸውን ማዘጋጀት አይችሉም። ጉድ እና ኢንፑቱ ምንድነው? ወይም ኢንፑቱ ምንድነው? ኢንፑቶቹ ካርቦን ዳይኦክሳይድ ውሃና ሰንላይት ናቸው። ፕሮዳክቶቹ ደግሞ ግሉኮስ እና ኦክሲጅን ነው። ጉድ ኢምፖርታንስ ኦፍ ፎቶሲንቴሲስ ዋት ኢዝ ዘ ኢምፖርታንስ ኦፍ ፎቶሲንቴሲስ? One, food production. Photosynthetic organisms are what? Producers. They can manufacture their own food. Photosynthetic organisms are foundation of nearly every food web on Earth. So photosynthetic organisms are what? They are the basis of every food web. Every organisms directly or indirectly depending upon photosynthetic organisms. So photosynthetic organisms are the base or the foundation of every food web on Earth or every food chain on Earth because of the fact that they are what? Producers. They can manufacture their own food. They can manufacture glucose. Plants can prepare their own food by the process of what? Photosynthesis. Thus, plants are what? Producers. Plants are what? Autotrophs. Plants are what? Self-feeding. Why? Because they can manufacture their own food. The food they produce again became food for the consumers. Yes, these plants made or produce food, and that food again becomes food for consumers. We human beings and other animals are what? Consumers. We eat plants and we eat other organisms because of the fact that we are consumers. We are not producers. Animals are not producers. Humans are not producers. Rather than photosynthetic organisms are producers because they can manufacture their own food using the process of photosynthesis. They are producers, they are autotrophs. Other organisms are consumers because they eat food from the food that manufactured by producers. That is, plants are sources of food for consumers. They are what? Sources of food for consumers. ስለዚህ የፎቶሲንቴሲስ አንደኛው ጥቅም ምንድነው? ምግባቸውን ያዘጋጃሉ። የራሳቸው ምግብ ያዘጋጃሉ። ለምን? ለማደግ ለተለያየ ስራ ምግብ ያዘጋጃሉ። ስለዚህ ምግቡን ይጠቀሙበታል። ከዛ በኋላ ደግሞ እኛ ደግሞ ፕላንቶች ሌሎች ኦርጋኒዝሞች ደግሞ ምግብን እነሱ የሰሩትን ምግብ እንበላለን ማለት ነው። ዘሩ፣ ስንዴው፣ ባቄላው፣ ጤፉ ምኑ ምንበላው እንጀራ ምንበላው እነሱ የሰሩትን ነው። ፕላንቶች የሰሩትን ነው። ስለዚህ ፎቶሲንቴቲክ ኦርጋኒዝሞች ምን ተብለው ይጠራሉ? ፕሮዲሰርስ ወይም አውቶትሮፍስ ወይም ሰልፍ ፊዲንግ ተብለው ይጠራሉ። ወይም ሰልፍ ፊደር ተብለው ይጠራሉ። ሌሎች ኦርጋኒዝሞች የሚባሉ ምግባቸው ማዘጋጀት የማይችሉ ኮንሱመርስ ወይም ሄትሮትሮፍስ ይባላሉ። ጉድ Another importance of photosynthesis is oxygen production. The process is responsible for the majority of oxygen in Earth's atmosphere. Yes, so the majority of oxygen in Earth's atmosphere is produced by the process of photosynthesis. So the second importance of photosynthesis is for the production of what? Oxygen. Oxygen is essential for survival of most life forms regarding cellular respiration. Yes, in order to break down food, oxygen is required. Animals, including human beings, are directly dependent on what? Oxygen. Without oxygen, there is no life. And this production of oxygen is performed by the process of photosynthesis. Good. So the oxygen that produced by the process of photosynthesis is important for cellular respiration. What cellular respiration? Cellular respiration is the process by which food is broken down into simpler forms, into ATP, and that energy is important for different purposes or different activities within the body of living organisms. The basic source of energy that sustain life began with sunlight. So sunlight is what? The source of energy. Sun is what? The source of energy. So the basic source of energy that sustain life began with what? Sunlight, which absorbed by what? Chlorophyll, and this sunlight is absorbed by chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is a very important pigment, green pigment, which is important to absorb sunlight energy for the process of photosynthesis. Without the chlorophyll, photosynthesis or light energy cannot be absorbed. If there is no absorption of light energy, green plants cannot manufacture their own food. Good. Good. Another important photosynthesis is that to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Yeah. In order to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, photosynthesis is also important. Photosynthesis acts as a massive carbon sink. It is a carbon sink. It's a carbon sink. It absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So photosynthesis acts as a massive carbon sink. Photosynthesis helps regulate Earth's climate by reducing greenhouse gas concentration. Carbon dioxide is one of the greenhouse gas, and the fact that plants absorb carbon dioxide in order to manufacture their own food. So photosynthesis is important to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Due to this fact, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is 0.04 parts per million. So in order to regulate this atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide, this photosynthesis is very crucial or very important. Yes, so this carbon dioxide is taken from the atmosphere. Good. The photosynthetic apparatus. Mesophyll. Mesophyll is the primary tissue where photosynthesis occurs. The primary tissue where photosynthesis occurs is known as mesophyll. Mesophyll is a tissue which is found within leaves. It is found in the leaves and other green tissue of the plants. So this mesophyll is a tissue which is found in leaves and other green tissue of the plants in stems and others. Mesophyll cells contain largest number of chloroplasts. So most of the chloroplasts are found within the mesophyll cells. As we have discussed in the previous discussion, there are two types of mesophyll. Yes, mesophyll. There are two types of mesophyll. Yes, spongy mesophyll and what? Palacid mesophyll. And this palacid mesophyll contain what? Large number of chloroplasts. Good. ስለዚህ አረንጓዴ ተክሎች ጥቅማቸው ምንድን ነው? አንደኛ ምግብን ፕሮዲውስ ማድረግ ነው። ፕሮዳክሽን ኦፍ ፉድ፣ ምግባቸውን ማዘጋጀት ነው። ምግብ ማዘጋጀት ነው ፎቶሲንቴሲስ ጥቅም። ፎቶሲንቴሲስ ከሌለ ህይወት ያለው ነገር በሙሉ አይኖርም። ምክንያቱም ፕላንቶች ምግባቸውን ያዘጋጃሉ፣ ሌሎች ኦርጋኒዝሞች የሚያዘጋጁ እንደነ ሳይኖባክቴሪያ ቅድም እንዳልነው እንደ አልጌ የመሳሰሉት ምግባቸውን ያዘጋጃሉ። ስለዚህ አንዱ ጥቅም የፎቶሲንቴሲስ ምግብ ማዘጋጀት ነው። ሁለተኛ ኦክሲጅን መስጠት ነው። ፎቶሲንቴሲስ ይካሄዳል፣ ከዛ ምን ይፈጠራል? ኦክሲጅን ይፈጠራል። እንደ ባይ ፕሮዳክት ኦር አውትፑት ኦክሲጅን ነው። ኦክሲጅን ደግሞ እንደምታዩት እናስገባዋለን። ለምን እንጠቀምበታለን? ለሴሉላር ሬስፓይሬሽን። ሌላኛው ጥቅም የፎቶሲንቴሲስ በአየር ውስጥ ያለውን የካርቦን ዳይኦክሳይድ መጠን ማመጣጠን ነው። ምክንያቱም በፎቶሲንቴሲስ ጊዜ ግሪን ፕላንቶች ካርቦን ዳይኦክሳይድን በስቶማታቸው ያስገባሉ። ለምን? ለፎቶሲንቴሲስ። በዛ አማካኝነት በአትሞስፌር ውስጥ ያለው የካርቦን ዳይኦክሳይድ መጠን ኦልሞስት 0.04 ፓርትስ ፐር ሚሊዮን ነው። Good. So these are the three importance of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis የሚካሄድበት ቲሹ ምን ይባላል? መስኦፊል ቲሹ ይባላል ወይም መስኦፊል ሴል። because እነዚህ መስኦፊል ሴሎች ብዛት ያላቸው ክሎሮፕላስቶች የሚገኙት እዚህ ሴል ውስጥ ነው። Good. Chloroplasts are organelles within plant cell where photosynthesis occurs. So the site of photosynthesis is chloroplast, or chloroplasts are the site of photosynthesis. They are organelles within the cells. Yes, within the cells, these chloroplasts are organelles, like what? Like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, and others. So chloroplasts are organelles with the plant cell where photosynthesis occurs. Chloroplasts are enclosed by double membrane. Yes, there is double membrane. So chloroplasts have double membrane. Inside the membrane, there are flatted sacs. These flatted sacs, which are found inside the membrane, known as thylakoids. Thylakoids contain chlorophyll and other pigments which absorb solar energy, which absorb light energy. Yes, so chloroplast enclosed with double membrane. Inside the membrane, there are flatted sacs. These flat sacs are known as what? Thylakoids. And these thylakoids contain what? Pigments, such as chlorophyll and other pigments. And these pigments are important to absorb light energy or solar energy. Thylakoids are stacked on top of each other to form grana. Yes, there is one thylakoid, there is another thylakoid over and over, one on the top of the other. This stacking of thylakoid one over the other to form a structure known as grana, singular granum. Yes, so there is stacking of thylakoid one on the top of the other, and this form grana or granum. So ክሎሮፕላስት ኦርጋነል ነው፣ ሴል ውስጥ ያለ ኦርጋነል ነው። ፎቶሲንቴሲስ የሚካሄድበት ነው። ክሎሮፕላስት ደብል መምብሬን አለው፣ ሁለት ሽፋን አለው፣ ደብል መምብሬን አለው። መምብሬን ከውስጥ በኩል ሳኮች አሉ፣ ከረጢት የመሰሉ ነገሮች አሉ። እዛ ከረጢት የመሰሉ ነገሮች የሚባለው ታይላኮይድ፣ በውስጣቸው ምን ይዘዋል? ክሎሮፊል ይዘዋል፣ ወይም ሌሎች ፒግመንቶች አሉ። እዛ ምን አብዞርብ ያደርጋሉ? ላይት ኢነርጂን። ታይላኮይድ እርስ በርሱ የተደራረበ ነው። ይሄ የተደራረበ ታይላኮይድ ምን ተብሎ ይጠራል? ግራና ወይም ግራነም ተብሎ ይጠራል። ሲንጉላር ጉድ። The granum contains the chlorophyll, enzymes, proteins that participate in light trapping phase of photosynthesis. Light trapping phase of photosynthesis, different variables are required, chlorophyll, enzymes, and different proteins. So the granum contains such kind of substance or such kind of molecules. Therefore, thylakoids or grana are the site of what? Light-dependent reaction of photosynthesis. There are two types of reaction, light-dependent and light-independent reaction. So thylakoid or grana is the site of what? The site of light-dependent reaction of photosynthesis. ስለዚህ ላይት ሁለት አይነት ሪአክሽኖች አሉ፣ ላይት ዲፔንደንት እና ላይት ኢንዲፔንደንት እንነጋገርበታለን። ላይት ዲፔንደንት ሪአክሽን የሚካሄድ ውስጥ ነው፣ ግራናም ወይም ታይላኮይድ ወይም ግራና ውስጥ ነው። ጉድ The fluid-filled space surrounding the thylakoid or between grana or surrounding thylakoids, there are fluid-filled space. This fluid-filled space that surround thylakoid or that are found between grana known as what? Stroma. Yes, so stroma is a fluid-filled space which is found between grana or surrounding thylakoids. Light-independent reaction occur in stroma. Yes, light-independent reaction occur here in the stroma. Light-dependent reaction takes place where? In the thylakoid or grana or granum. However, light-independent reaction occur in the stroma. Stroma is the site of what? Sugar synthesis. Yes, stroma is what? The site of glucose synthesis. The site of what? Carbohydrate synthesis. ስለዚህ ይሄ ደግሞ ፈሳሽ የመሰለው ነገር ታይላኮይዶችን ወይም ግራናዎችን ሰራውንድ ያደረገ ፈሳሽ የመሰለ ነገር አለ፣ በፈሳሽ የተሞላ ያ በፈሳሽ የተሞላ ስትሮማ ይባላል። ስትሮማ ውስጥ ላይት ኢንዲፔንደንት ሪአክሽን ይካሄድበታል። ቅድሙ ላይ ታይላኮይድ ላይ ወይም ግራና ውስጥ ላይ ምን ብለናል? ላይት ዲፔንደንት ሪአክሽን። ላይት ኢንዲፔንደንት ሪአክሽን የሚካሄዱት የት ውስጥ ነው? ስትሮማ ውስጥ ነው። ስለዚህ ስትሮማ ውስጥ ምን ይመረታል? ሹገር፣ ምግቡ የሚመረትበት ግሉኮሱ የሚመረትበት ቦታ ስትሮማ ይባላል። የቅድሙ ታይላኮይድ ምንድነው? የፀሐይ ብርሃን አብዞርብ የሚደረግበት ፓርት ምን ይባላል? ታይላኮይድ ይባላል። ምግቡ ደግሞ የሚሰራበት ፓርት ምን ይባላል? ስትሮማ ይባላል። Sugar are converted to other compounds. The first product for photosynthesis is what? Glucose or sugar. After the formation of sugar, there are other organic compounds are synthesized or formed. Amino acids, proteins, lipids are virtually found in all organisms. So sugar, the first product is sugar. Then after that glucose is arranged and rearranged in different forms, and there is a formation of different organic compounds like amino acid, proteins, and lipids, which are found in all living organisms. Yes, የመጀመሪያ የሚሰራ ምንድን ነው? ስኳር ነው፣ ሹገር ነው፣ ግሉኮስ ነው። ግሉኮስ ከተሰራ በኋላ ሌሎች ሳብስታንሶች የስኳር እርስ በርሰው በተለያየ ዳይሬክሽን በተለያየ መልኩ እርስ በርሱ እየተያያዘ ወይም ከሌላ ሳብስታንሶች ጋር በመያያዝ ምን ይፈጥራል? አሚኖ አሲድን፣ ፕሮቲን፣ ሊፒድን እና ሌሎች ነገሮችን ይፈጥራል። ጎድ ይሰራል። Look, this one is the mass of the mesophyll cell. Look, this one is the chloroplast. Look, the chloroplast, which has two membrane, the outer membrane and the inner membrane. Look, this one, the sac-like structure known as the thylakoid, or this one is the thylakoid. The thylakoids are packed or stacked one over the other to form what? Granum. This green color is known as thylakoid. This one is one thylakoid, this one is another thylakoid, another thylakoid, another thylakoid, another thylakoid. This one thylakoids. And this sac-like structure of thylakoids, and thylakoids are stacked one over the other and form granum. Look, this one is granum, one granum, a group of thylakoid. This one is another granum. 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 Granum is a group of what? Thylakoid, or thylakoids are stacked one on the top of each other to form granum. And these all are known as what? Grana, plural. Good. I think it's clear. እንደምታዩት ይሄኛው ሁለት መንበሬን ደብል መንበሬን ነው ብለናል። የውጨኛው ይሄው አውተር መንበሬን፣ የውስጠኛው ደግሞ ይባላል ኢነር መንበሬን ይባላል። እነዚህ ከረጢት የመሰሉ ነገሮች እንደምታዩቸው ምን ይባላሉ? ታይላኮይድ ይባላሉ። ለማታለከት ይሄ አንድ ታይላኮይድ ነው፣ ይሄኛው ላይ ታይላኮይድ። ታይላኮይድ አንዱ በአንዱ ላይ እየተደራረበ ይሄዳል። ያ የተደራረበው ምን ይባላል? ግራነም ይባላል። ሲንጉላር ግራነም። ይሄ አንድ ግራነም ነው፣ ይሄኛው አንድ ግራነም ነው፣ ይሄኛው አንድ ግራነም ነው። በአጠቃላይ ምን ይባላል? ግራና ይባላል። ታንክ ዩ ሙቭ ጉድ Photosynthetic pigments. The pigments found within most types of photosynthesized cells are primarily what? Chlorophylls and carotenoids. So carotenoids and chlorophylls are the most important photosynthetic pigments in green plants. The major pigment used to drive light reaction in chloroplasts is what? Chlorophyll A. Chlorophyll is the major or the primary pigment that drive light reaction is chlorophyll A. Other light absorbing accessory pigments. There are other accessory pigments which are important to absorb light energy, include chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C. Carotenoids are what? Accessory pigments. They absorb light energy. However, the major or the primary pigments that drive light reaction is what? Chlorophyll A. And these accessory pigments absorb light energy at different wavelengths. You know that light travels in the form of what? In the form of wave. So there are different pigments: chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, carotenoids, and they absorb light at different wavelengths. The sun radiates the entire spectrum of electromagnetic radiation. I think you are familiar with electromagnetic radiation from physics course. So the sun radiates the entire spectrum. This entire spectrum is known as what? The electromagnetic radiation. Yes? This electromagnetic radiation consists of what? Radio wave, microwave, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet light, UV radiation, X-rays, and gamma rays. These are electromagnetic radiation that are radiated by the sun. These pigments, that means chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, carotenoids, are capable of absorbing portion of the visible light. From what? From the electromagnetic radiation. Yes, electromagnetic radiation consists of these components. From the electromagnetic radiation, pigments, that photosynthetic pigments absorb the visible light by vigor: violet, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. Both chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B absorb violet, blue, and red wavelengths. Yes, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, they absorb what? Violet. This one is the violet. They absorb what? Blue and red wavelengths better than other colors, better than yellow, orange, or green colors. So chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B absorb which visible light? Violet, blue, and red better than the other colors. ስለዚህ ይሄ ፀሐይ ብርሃን የምንለቀው ነው። እንደምታውቁት የፀሐይ ብርሃን የምንለቀው ምን አለው በውስጡ የኤሌክትሮማግኔቲክ ራዲዬሽን የሚባለው ሬዲዮ ዌቭ አለው፣ ማይክሮዌቭ አለው፣ ኢንፍራሬድ አለው፣ ዩቪ ራዲዬሽን አለው፣ ኤክስሬዝ አለው፣ ጋማ ሬይ አለው። እነዚህ ግን ጋማ ሬይ፣ ኤክስሬ፣ ዩቪ ራዲዬሽን የመሳሰሉት መሬት ላይ አይደርሱም። በኦዞን ሌየር አማካኝነት እዛው ይቀራሉ። በኦዞን ሌየር አማካኝነት መሬት ከደረሱማ እንዳለ ከባድ ነው። ምድር ራሱ ትቃጠላለች። ስለዚህ በኦዞን ሌየር አማካኝነት ንጣፍ አለ፣ ኦዞን ሌየር የሚባል እዛ ላይ የኦዞን ሌየሩ ወደ መሬት እንዳይደርስ ይከላከላቸዋል። መሬት ላይ የሚደርሰው ምንድነው? ቪዚብል ላይት ነው። ቪዚብል ላይት የምናየው ነገር ቪዚብል ላይት ይባላል። ይሄ ቪዚብል ላይት እነዚህን 6 ከለሮች የያዘ ነው። ቫዮሌት፣ ብሉ፣ ግሪን፣ የሎ፣ ኦሬንጅ እና ሬድ። ይሄ መሬት ላይ ይደርሳል የምናየው ነገር ነው። ክሎሮፊል ኤ እና ክሎሮፊል ቢ አብዞርብ የሚያደርጉት በብዛት አብዞርብ የሚያደርጉት የትኛውን ነው? ቫዮሌቱን፣ ቫዮሌት፣ ብሉ እና ሬድ rather than or better than other colors ከሌሎቹ የተሻለ ቫዮሌት፣ ብሉ እና ሬድን አብዞርብ ያደርጋሉ እነዚህ ክሎሮፊል ኤ እና ክሎሮፊል ቢ የሚባሉት። ጉድ because green light is reflected and only minimal absorbed by chlorophylls, leaves appear green to us. Yes, green leaves appear what? Green to us. Why? Because the green light is reflected into the atmosphere. So chlorophylls do not absorb green light. They absorb in minimal form. Only small percent of the green light is absorbed by chlorophylls. Most green light is reflected back into the atmosphere. That is the reason why leaves appear green for us. Yes? አረንጓዴ ተክሎች አረንጓዴ ናቸው። እጽዋቶች አረንጓዴ ናቸው። ቅጠሎች ቀለማቸው ምንድነው? አረንጓዴ ነው። ለምን ይመስላችኋል? ይሄ ከቪዚብል ላይት ውስጥ ያለው ከነዛ ከባይቢጎሮች ውስጥ ክሎሮፊል ግሪን ላይቱን አብዞርብ ያደርገው ሪፍሌክት ያደርገዋል፣ ያንጸባርቀዋል። ሪፍሌክት ስለሚያደርገው አብዞርብ ስለማያደርገው ወደ ውስጥ ስለማያስገባው ሪፍሌክት ስለሚያደርገው ቅጠሎች ምንድናቸው? ቀለማቸው በብዛት አረንጓዴ ነው። ጉድ Axar pigments such as carotenoids appear yellow or orange because they are able to absorb light in the violet and blue-green range, but not the yellow-orange range. Yes, so this axaric pigment, the carotenoids, appear what? Yellow or orange because of the fact that they are able to absorb light in the violet, blue-green range, but reflect yellow and orange range. Yes, አንዳንድ ቅጠሎች ለምሳሌ ስታዩ ቢጫ ቀለም ታያላችሁ፣ ቢጫ አበባ ታያላችሁ፣ እነዚህ አይነት ነገሮች ታያላችሁ። እነዛ ምንድነው? መስታች ምን ስላለ ነው? ካሮቲኖይድ የሚባል ፒግመንት ስላለ ነው። ስለዚህ ካሮቲኖይድስ ማን አብዞርብ ያደርጋል? ቫዮሌትን፣ ብሉ እና ግሪን አብዞርብ ያደርጋል። ማን ሪፍሌክት ያደርጋል? ማን ያንጸባርቃል? እነዚህ የሎ ቢጫና ብርቱካናማ ቀለሞች። እነዚህ ብርቱካናማና ቢጫ ቀለሞች are reflected by carotenoids. However, chlorophyll reflect the green light. The green light is reflected by chlorophyll. Good. Pigments of chloroplasts absorb most of the visible light. Most of the visible light is absorbed by chloroplasts, ranging from 380 up to 750. Yes, from 380 to 750 or 740 are absorbed by the green pigment which are found within the chloroplast. Maximum light absorption occurs at the wavelengths from 400 up to 500 nanometer. Yes, this is the maximum range of absorption of light energy. From 400 up to 500 nanometer is the maximum absorption of light, of blue light. From 600 to 700 nanometer of the red light. Yes, maximum light absorption occurs at the wavelengths from 400 up to 500 nanometer of the blue light. This one is the blue light, which is the maximum absorption of light between 400 to 500 nanometer of the blue light. And maximum light absorption of red light occurs between 600 to 700 nanometer of the red light. Good. So this one here, the red light, this one, the blue light, where maximum light absorption occurs. So there are two peaks. Yes, the blue light and the red light. These are the maximum peaks that absorb maximum light. And light range from 500 to 600 nanometer, from 500 to 600 nanometer, that include green light, green light here, is not absorbed. It is rather what? Reflected. That is the reason why leaves look green. Yes, so light ranges from 500 to 600 nanometers. That includes green light is not absorbed. So this range is not absorbed. So this green light is not absorbed rather than what is reflected. That's the reason why leaves look green. ማክሲማም ላይት አብዞርቤሽን የሚካሄድበት ሁለት ፒኮች አሉ። አንደኛው ብሉ ላይት ነው፣ አንደኛው ሬር ላይት ነው። ከ400 እስከ 500፣ አንደኛው ደግሞ ከ600 እስከ 700 ናኖሜትር። በጣም ትንሽ አብዞርቤሽን የሚካሄድበት ደግሞ ከ500 እስከ 600 ናኖሜትር ግሪን ላይት ላይ ነው። እዚህ ጋር በጣም ትንሽ ነው አብዞርብ የሚደረገው። ይሄኛው እንደውም ሪፍሌክት ይሆናል። ለዛ ነው አረንጓዴ ተክሎች ስናያቸው፣ ቅጠሎች ስናያቸው አረንጓዴ የሚሆኑት ግሪን ላይቱ ስለሚንጸባረቅ ነው። ጉድ ሉክ this one is the maximum blue light from 400 up to 500. Look, the peak, this one is back, one peak, this one is another peak from 600 to 700 nanometers. So these are the two peaks in which maximum absorption of light energy takes place. And the minimum, this is the green light is reflected. It does not absorbed by pigments. So this from 500 to 600 is the green light that reflect to the atmosphere. That is the reason why green plants or leaves look green, because this green light reflects into the atmosphere. So ሁለት ፒክ ይኸውላችሁ እዚህ ጋር one peak ሁለት ፒክ በጣም ኃይለኛ አብዞርቤሽን ላይት ኤነርጂ አብዞርብ የሚደረግባቸው ቦታዎች ናቸው። የኛው ደግሞ ዝቅተኛውን ተመልከቱ፣ የሚንጸባረቀው ነው። ጉድ mechanism of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a two-stage process. Yes, it is what? A stage-by-stage process. Photosynthesis is not a one-step process. Photosynthesis is what? It is a step-by-step process. So photosynthesis has two stages, or photosynthesis is a two-stage process. What are these processes? Light-dependent reaction and light-independent reaction. Another name of light-independent reaction is the Calvin cycle or the Dirac reaction. The reaction of both pathways proceed within the chloroplast. So both light-dependent reactions and light-independent reactions or Calvin cycle takes place within what? Chloroplast. The photosynthesis ስቴፕ ዝም ብሎ አይደለም ምግብ የሚሰራው፣ ስቴጆች አሉት። አንዱ ሞለኪውል ላይ ይቀየራል፣ ሌላኛው ሞለኪውል ላይ ይቀየራል፣ መጨረሻ ነው ግሉኮስ የሚሰራው። ስለዚህ ሁለት ዋና ዋና ስቴጆች አሉት፣ ላይት ዲፔንደንት እና ላይት ኢንዲፔንደንት። ሁለቱ የሚካሄዱት ውስጥ ነው፣ ክሎሮፕላስት ውስጥ ነው። ላይት ዲፔንደንት ሪአክሽን it occur in the thylakoid membrane of the chloroplast. So light dependent reaction occur where? In the thylakoid membrane or in the grana or in the granum. It takes place in the grana or granum. Here in the granum, chlorophyll and other pigments capture light energy. Yes, the pigments, they are pigments, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, and carotenoids capture light energy. The thylakoid membrane of chloroplast contain two distinct complexes of protein and pigment molecules called photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. Yes, there are two distinct complexes of proteins and pigments. What are these two distinct complexes of proteins and pigment? Photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. Another known as the electron transport chain or the electron transport system. So the electron transport system and photosystem 1 and photosystem 2 are found within the thylakoid membrane of the chloroplast. So the thylakoid membrane of the chloroplast contain photosystem 1, photosystem 2, and the electron transport system. What are photosystem 1 and photosystem 2? They are what? Protein complexes. With what? They are protein complexes. These protein complexes that contain pigments within the thylakoid membrane known as what? Photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. Good. Molecules of chlorophyll A and various accessory pigments are arranged in light harvesting complex, also known as antenna system. So, molecule of chlorophyll A and other various accessory pigments they are arranged into what? They are arranged in the form of what? Light harvesting complexes, or they are arranging in the form of what? Antenna systems. Light harvesting complexes contain many pigment molecules, and these light harvesting complexes contain many pigment molecules which are important to absorb light energy and funnel or transfer that light energy towards the reaction center within the photosystem. Yes. There are light harvesting complexes. There are antenna systems. And this complex contain what? Pigments, different pigments, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, and carotenoids. And they absorb what? Light energy. And then they transfer or they funnel that light energy into or towards the reaction center. Within what? Within the photosystem. What is photosystem? It is a complex, protein complex. So the light energy is absorbed by pigment molecules which are found within the antenna system, and they transfer that light energy into the reaction center within the photosystem. That is, light harvesting complexes absorb light energy from the sun and transfer that light energy into the reaction center for photosynthesis. Good. ስለዚህ ፕሮቲን ኮምፕሌክሶች አሉ። እነዚህ ላይት ሃርቨስቲንግ ኮምፕሌክስ እና አንቴና ሲስተም የሚባሉት ላይት ምን ያደርጋሉ? ላይት ኤነርጂን አብዞርብ ያደርጋሉ። ላይት ኤነርጂን አብዞርብ አድርገው ወዴት ያስተላልፋሉ? ወደ ሪያክሽን ሴንተር ያስተላልፋሉ። ወደ ፎቶሲስተም ውስጥ ወዳለው ሪያክሽን ሴንተር። ፎቶሲስተም ምንድን ነው? ፕሮቲን ኮምፕሌክስ ነው፣ ሞለኪውል ነው፣ ብዙ ከሞለኪውሎች የተሰራ በውስጡ ምን የያዘ? ሪያክሽን ሴንተር የያዘ። ስለዚህ ላይት ኤነርጂ በነዚህ በፒግመንቶች በክሎሮፊል ኤ፣ በክሎሮፊል ቢ፣ በክሎሮፊል ሲ አማካኝነት አብዞርብ ይደረጋል። ወዴት ይላካል? ላይት ኤነርጂ ወደ ሪያክሽን ሴንተር ይላካል። ለምን? ለፎቶሲንቴሲስ። ጉድ step by step flows during light dependent reaction. The first one, light absorption. Pigment the antenna complex of photosystem 2 absorb photons of light. There are two complexes, protein complex, yes, photosystem 1 and photosystem 2, yes. So the first step is that pigment in the antenna complex of photosystem 2, not photosystem 1, photosystem 2 yalkuno, not photosystem 1, absorb photons of light. So pigments in the antenna complex of photosystem 2 absorb photons of light. Then energy transfer. The energy from the absorbed light is passed or transferred from one pigment molecule to another to the reaction center of photosystem 2. Good. Yes, there is absorption of light by the antenna complex within photosystem 2. And that light energy is transferred from one molecule to another molecule to the reaction center of photosystem 2. Electron excitation. The reaction center of chlorophyll or photosystem 2 is excited to high energy level or high energy state. This high energy electron is passed to the primary electron acceptor. Yes. So this photosystem 2 or chlorophyll which is found in photosystem 2 become what? Excited. The electron move from ground state to what? To higher energy level. So this high energy electron is passed to a primary electron acceptor. መጀመሪያ ላይት አብዞርብ ይደረጋል በፒግመንት ውስጥ በክሎሮፊል ኤ፣ ክሎሮፊል ቢ፣ ክሎሮፊል ሲ፣ ክሎሮፊል ወይም ካሮቲኖይድ ሊሆን ይችላል። የት ውስጥ የሚገኙ? አንቴና ኮምፕሌክስ ውስጥ የሚገኙ ፎቶሲስተም 2 ላይ absorb photon of light. Yes. ከዛ ያ photon of light ከአንዱ ፒግመንት ወደ ሌላኛው ፒግመንት ከኛው ፒግመንት ወደ ኛው ፒግመንት እያለ የት ጋር ይደርሳል? ሪያክሽን ሴንተር ላይ ይደርሳል። የት ውስጥ ያለው ሪያክሽን ሴንተር? ፎቶሲስተም 2 ላይ። ፎቶሲስተም ከዛ ምን ትሆናለች? ፎቶሲስተም 2 ወይም እዚያ ያለው ክሎሮፊል ይሆናል። ክሎሮፊል ኤ ምን ይሆናል? ኤግዛይትድ ይሆናል። ከግራውንድ ስቴት ወደ ኤግዛይትድ ስቴት ይቀየራል። ኤሌክትሮኑም ያደርጋል፣ ሉዝ ያደርጋል። ለማ ይሰጣል? ለፕራይመሪ ኤሌክትሮን አክሴፕተር ይሰጣል። ኤሌክትሮኑ ምን ስለሚሆን? ኤግዛይትድ ስለሆነ። የኬሚስትሪ ላይ የተማራችሁት ነው። ለማ ይሰጣል? ኤሌክትሮን ለፕራይመሪ ኤሌክትሮን አክሴፕተር። ከዛም ይከሰታል። ለታሲ the fourth one, electron transport. The electron travels through an electron transport chain generating a proton gradient that lead to the production of ATP. Yes, so the electron from the primary electron acceptor travels through electron transport chain. Yes, and these electrons are important for the formation of ATP or for the production of ATP. So electrons move from one molecule to another molecule through an electron transport chain, and this generates proton gradient, and this proton gradient is important for the production of ATP. Then fifth, photosystem 1. Photosystem 2 replace its lost electrons by splitting water. Yes, so photosystem 2, it became in the excited state. Then it should be returned back to the ground state. How it replace its lost electron? This photosystem 2 replaces its lost electrons by splitting water. Good. The electron from the electron transport chain then move to photosystem 1. Yes, the electron from the photosystem 2 pass to the primary electron acceptor. From the primary electron acceptor, the electron moves through the electron transport chain. From the electron transport chain, that electron moves to what? Photosystem 1, where this complex, it gets re-energized by absorbing more light energy. This photosystem 1 also absorbs energy independently of photosystem 2. That is, photosystem 1 receives electrons from photosystem 2 through electron transport chain. Good. ከዛ ከፎቶሲስተም 2 ኤሌክትሮን ወደ ትሄዳለች ወደ ፕራይመሪ ኤሌክትሮን አክሴፕተር። ከፕራይመሪ ኤሌክትሮን አክሴፕተር ኤሌክትሮን ወደ ትሄደች ነው በኤሌክትሮን ትራንስፖርት ቼን ውስጥ ከአንድ ሞለኪውል ወደ ሌላኛው ሞለኪውል ከአንድ ሞለኪውል ወደ ሌላኛው ሞለኪውል እያለች ትደርሳለች። ፎቶሲስተም 1 ላይ ትደርሳለች። ስለዚህ ያችን ኤሌክትሮን ከፎቶሲስተም 2 የመጣችውን ኤሌክትሮን መጨረሻ ላይ የምትሄደው ፎቶሲስተም 1 ላይ ትደርሳለች ማለት ነው። በምን አማካኝነት? በኤሌክትሮን ትራንስፖርት ቼን አማካኝነት። ፎቶሲስተም 2 ያጣውን ኤሌክትሮን እንዴት ያገኛል? እንዴት ሪፕሌስ ያደርገዋል? ከማን ሪፕሌስ የሚያደርገው? ውሃን ስፕሊት በማድረግ ነው። ውሃ ይሰባበራል። ውሃ ሲሰባበር ኤሌክትሮን ይፈጠራል። ያቺ ኤሌክትሮን ፎቶሲስተም 2 ሉዝ ያደረጋትን ኤሌክትሮን ትተካለች። ጉድ NADPH production. Photosystem 1 transfers the high energy electron to an acceptor, and it is ultimately used to create NADPH, nicotine amide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. So nicotine amide dinucleotide phosphate is the last electron acceptor. Yes, the last electron. So the photosystem 1 receive electrons from electron transport chain. That photosystem 1 again transfer that energy electron to NADPH, and this NADPH is an electron carrier or an energy carrier. ከዛ በኋላ ከፎቶሲስተም 1 ላይ ያለችው ኤሌክትሮን ደግሞ ትሄዳለች ወደ NADH ትመጣለች። ስለዚህ የመጨረሻው ምንድነው ማለት ነው? NADH ይመረታል ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ it's very interesting. I think it is an interesting topic. Good. NADPH ምንድነው? ኤሌክትሮን ካሪየር ነው። ኤነርጂ ካሪየር ኤሌክትሮን የሚሸከም ካሪየር ነው። ኤነርጂ ካሪየር ነው NADPH. Good. After an excited electron, photosystem 2 in the reaction center gives up its energetic electron to produce a chemical acceptor molecule. Yes, the photosystem 2 or the excited chlorophyll lose its electron and gives that electron to what? To the primary electron acceptor. So the chlorophyll lack an electron and it's very what? Unstable, because it is found in excited state. It lost electron. It lack an electron, so it became what? Unstable. This unstable chlorophyll has a strong tendency to grab an electron from another molecule to replace the one it lost. So this unstable chlorophyll or this photosystem 2 should grab an electron from another molecule in order to replace the lost one. The replacing chlorophyll's electron come from what? Water. So chlorophyll or photosystem 2 replaced its lost electron from what? From water. So the replacing chlorophyll's electron came from water. So water is the source of electron to replace the lost electron of photosystem 2 or chlorophyll. Good. Water splitting enzyme, oxygen evolving complex, is an enzyme complex associated with photosystem 2. Splits water molecules into protons, electrons, and oxygen. Yes, so there is enzyme which is found within photosystem 2. Interesting enzyme for this life, for the existence of our life. This enzyme is very crucial. Oxygen evolving complex. It is an enzyme complex found within photosystem 2 that split water molecules into protons, electrons, and oxygen. This splitting of water is known as what? Photolysis. Yes, photolysis is a process in which water is split into protons, electrons, and oxygen. The electrons released from the oxidized water molecules reduce or replace photosystem 2 of its lost electron. Yes, this is electron. These electrons that is released from water is important to reduce or to replace photosystem 2 of its lost electron. Interesting. This oxygen diffuse out of the chloroplast and can then leave the plant. Yes, this oxygen, which is formed from the splitting of water, diffuse out of the plant or out of the chloroplast and can then leave the plant. The proton, this one, help to the production of ATP. Interesting, yes? So there is water splitting enzyme. This water splitting enzyme split or break down water into protons, electrons, and oxygen. And these protons are important for the production of ATP. And these electrons are important to replace photosystem 2 of its lost electron. And this oxygen leaves or diffuse out of the chloroplast and can then leave the plant. Yes, የምንተነፍሰው ኦክሲጅን እዚህ ጋር ነው የሚፈጠረው። ኢንተረስቲንግ። ስለዚህ ይሄ ኦክሲጅን ኢንቮልቪንግ ኮምፕሌክስ ፎቶሲስተም ውስጥ ነው የሚገኘው። ይሄ ኤንዛይም ባይኖር ኖሮ ምናልባትም ህይወት ላይኖር ይችል ነበር። ይህ አን ኢንተረስቲንግ ፊዚዮሎጂ ጉድ። ስለዚህ ውሃው ይሰባበራል፣ ፕሮቶን ይፈጠራል፣ ሃይድሮጅን አዮን፣ ኤሌክትሮን ይፈጠራል፣ ኦክሲጅን ይፈጠራል። የፕሮቶንስ ምን ፕሮዲውስ ለማድረግ ያገለግላል? ኤቲፒ ፕሮዲውስ ለማድረግ። ይቺ ኤሌክትሮን ይሄ ፎቶሲስተም 2 ያጣውን ኤሌክትሮን ትተካለች። ይሄ ኦክሲጅን ከቅጠሉ ወደ ውጭ ይወጣል። ህይወት ያለው ነገር ሁሉ ያስገባዋል ለሴሉላር ሪስፓይሬሽን። very interesting physiology. Note that the source of oxygen in the atmosphere is water. Look, carbon dioxide plus water, these are the input, these are the output. So this oxygen, the source of oxygen, look, here there is oxygen, there is oxygen. So what's the source of oxygen? Is that carbon dioxide or water? This is water. The source of oxygen, the process of photosynthesis, oxygen is a byproduct. And this source of oxygen is what? Water, that we have seen in the previous slide. Interesting. In general, photosystem 2 and photosystem 1 work together to produce ATP and NADPH. So the major function of photosystem 2 and photosystem 1 is to produce ATP and NADPH. That is light reaction or light dependent reaction is the first phase of photosynthesis. Produce ATP, produce NADPH, produce oxygen. So ATP, NADPH, oxygen, these are the three molecules or the three substances that are produced through light dependent reaction of the first phase of photosynthesis. Interesting. Light independent reaction, that is known as the Kelvin cycle. The Kelvin cycle is the second phase of photosynthesis next to light dependent reaction. The second phase is known as light dependent reaction, another name is known as Kelvin cycle or dark reaction. The reaction of Kelvin cycle takes place in stroma. Yes, the light dependent reaction takes place where? In the grana or granum or thylakoid. The Kelvin cycle or the light dependent reaction takes place in the stroma, the fluid filled part of the chloroplast. The light independent reaction are sometimes called the dark reaction because they do not directly require light. Light energy is not directly required for light independent reaction, rather than light independent reaction require light independently. Light dependent reaction require light indirectly. It does not require light directly. The Kelvin cycle uses ATP and NADPH. This ATP and NADPH are produced during what? During light-dependent reaction in the first phase of photosynthesis. So this ATP and NADPH are very important to use in Kelvin cycle. The Kelvin cycle uses the ATP and NADPH made in the light-dependent reaction to reduce or to fix carbon dioxide and produce what? Glucose, a carbohydrate sugar. Interesting. Yes, so this ATP and NADPH are made in the light-dependent reaction, and they are important to reduce or to fix carbon dioxide for the production of what? Glucose. Therefore, glucose production occurs in the phase of what? Kelvin cycle. In the phase of what? Light-independent reaction. In the phase of what? Dark reaction. Good. ስለዚህ ላይት ኢንዲፔንደንት ሪያክሽን የሁለተኛው የፎቶሲንተሲስ ፌዝ ነው። ላይት ኢንዲፔንደንት ሪያክሽን ኬልቪን ሳይክል የት ውስጥ ነው የሚካሄደው? ስትሮማ ውስጥ ነው የሚካሄደው። ያስ የቅድሙ ላይት ኢንዲፔንደንት ሪያክሽን የት ውስጥ ነው የሚካሄደው? ታይላኮይድ ወይንም ግራናም ብለናል። ይሄኛው ደግሞ ላይት ኬልቪን ሳይክል የሚካሄደው ስትሮማ ውስጥ ነው የሚካሄደው። ላይት ኢንዲፔንደንት ሪያክሽን ዳርክ ሪያክሽን ይባላል። ምክንያቱም ላይት ኢንዲፔንደንት ሪያክሽን በቀጥታ የፀሐይ ብርሃን አይጠቀም፣ በቀጥታ የፀሐይ ብርሃን ስለማይጠቀም ኬልቪን ሳይክል በኤቲፒ እና ናድፒኤች በላይት ኢንዲፔንደንት ሪያክሽን ጊዜ ፕሮዱስ ሆነዋል፣ ተሰርተዋል፣ ፕሮዱስ ሆነዋል። እነዚህን ኤቲፒ እና ናድፒኤች ለሚጠቀምበታል ኬልቪን ሳይክል ፊክስ ለማድረግ ካርቦን ዳይኦክሳይድን ሪዱስ ለማድረግ ካርቦን ዳይኦክሳይድ ሪዱስድ ወደ ፊክስ ሆኖ ምን ይፈጠራል? ግሉኮስ ወይም ምግብ ይሰራል ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ምግብ የሚሰራ የት ነው? ላይት ኢንዲፔንደንት ሪያክሽን። ምግብ ለመስራት ምን ያስፈልጋል? ካርቦን ዳይኦክሳይድ። ምግብ ለመስራት ምን ያስፈልጋል? ኤቲፒ እና ናድፒኤች። ኤቲፒ እና ናድፒኤች መቼ ነው የሚፈጠሩት? በላይት ዲፔንደንት ሪያክሽን ጊዜ። ቅድም ያየነው ካርቦን ዳይኦክሳይድ ከየት መጣ? አረንጓዴ ተክሎች በስቶማታቸው ውስጥ ያስገቡታል። ስለዚህ ኤቲፒ እና ናድፒኤች ካርቦን ዳይኦክሳይድን ፊክስ ያደርጋሉ፣ ግሉኮስ ይፈጠራል። ዜርፎር ግሉኮስ ፕሮዳክሽን ኦከር ኢን ዘ ፌዝ ኦፍ Kelvin cycle. Last one, the overall chemical reaction of photosynthesis can be summed up by the following equation: carbon dioxide, water. These are the raw materials, sunlight, the raw materials, and trapped by green pigment known as chlorophyll. The formation or the production of glucose and the release of oxygen. Please like, share, and subscribe, and please put your comments for more biology tutorials. Thank you. Goodbye.